The first thing we'll discuss are the components of the system and how to prepare them for doing repairs during the day. We'll discuss the power grip bridge, the power vac injector assembly, its piston and seals. We'll discuss the crack mender injector, its piston and seals, and the crack mender stand. The power grip bridge consists of a suction cup, a filter, 2 leveling screws, and a pump to evacuate the air from the suction cup. This cloth patch is a filter which should be kept clean. It protects the orifice that the air is pumped out of. The pump consists of a spring and a seal. The only maintenance that should ever be done on this is to keep this seal clean and lubricated with a petroleum jelly type product. It snaps back into the assembly and it's ready to work. Okay. Next we'll discuss how to assemble the injector. Both injectors, the power vac and the crack mender, are assembled in exactly the same way. First, take the piston and the 2 piston seals, place them in the grooves on the piston, and they just slide right down. If you place the top seal first, it makes it easier to slip the next O-ring over it and down onto the piston. Next, using the resin that we're going to use for our repair today, we'll lubricate those seals with 1 drop of resin on each seal. The piston is inserted in the injector. The set screw is used to engage the threads, and that's its only purpose. Turn it down until it touches the piston, turn it back 1/2 turn, lift and turn the piston, and it should unscrew to a mechanical stop, and then screw it in, checking for smooth, easy motion. Next, we'll put 5 to 8 drops of resin in the injector body. Install the outer seal. And now evacuate all the air out of the piston, out of the injector, by screwing the piston in until the resin appears in the seal. Bring the resin to the top of the seal. Unscrew the piston only slightly to cause a depression in the resin that will keep it from spilling out when you turn it over. Just to illustrate what we've done, this is a cutaway of the power vac injector. These are our 2 inner seals. This is a 1/2 of an outer seal. This is the engagement screw. This is the piston. What I did, I lubricated the seals and inserted this in the injector. Then I turned the engagement screw in until it fit the slot of the screw. This allows the piston to move in and out of the injector body as it's turned. That's the only purpose for that screw. This creates the resin chamber at the bottom of the injector and a place to create a vacuum once we've eliminated the air from the injector. The first repair we're going to discuss today is a simple bullseye. The bullseye consists of an impact point, which is common to all brakes, where the rock or foreign object actually hit the glass, and then an air pocket located behind the first layer of glass in the windshield. What we're going to try and do today is remove all of the air and replace it with a resin that's stronger than the original glass. In order to do this repair, first we'll make sure there's no loose glass laying around the pit that might get in the way of our repair. Just lightly move the pick around the pit area, and anything loose will just fall away. Our next operation is to mount the injector body in the power grip bridge. We just mount it enough that we can use it to align the bridge and the injector over the brake. Sighting through the injector, we want that pit area, the impact point, to be right in the center of this opening. Activate the power grip pump. When it won't pump anymore, that's adequate. Remove the injector body. Using the techniques we've already discussed, load your resin into the injector. The resin is in the injector. The seal is in place. Mount the power vac injector in the power grip bridge, turning the injector with the body. That's this part, not with the piston. If you turn the piston, you'll force your resin out before you're ready. Turn that in just to mount it. Next, we adjust the leveling screws. Turn those in until they just touch the glass. Just barely touch the glass. Then turn each 2 quarter turns. 1, 2. We do it in quarter turns because it's a more accurate measurement than trying to turn 1/2 turn. Now turn the injector body down until it touches the glass. And turn it 2 quarter turns. Okay, the next step is to get the air out of the glass into the injector. We do that by holding the injector body so that we don't turn it and lose our seal to the glass. Then we rotate the piston counterclockwise all the way to the mechanical stop. This creates a vacuum. The air is now moving from the damage into the injector. In the vacuum cycle, what we're trying to accomplish is get the air to move out of the damage into the injector. You have 2 choices at this point. You can either leave it set and let it move out in its own time, or if you want to get the repair done in 3 to 5 minutes, you can do a slight application of heat, recommended no more than 3 seconds, and that's done using the spot heater and applying the flame directly to the glass for 3 seconds, 1001, 1002, 1003. That heat is applied just to the outside circumference of the damage area. When we're satisfied that all the air has been removed from the brake by creating a vacuum and heating, then we're going to create a pressure cycle which will assist the vacuum in moving the resin from the injector into the glass. We do that again by holding the body so that it doesn't move and turning the piston clockwise until it meets resistance. When it meets resistance, we turn it again and watch the outer seal expand. Watch the repair fill, looking for any tiny air pockets that are left. A normal repair will require 2 vacuum cycles and 2 pressure cycles. Examining the repair, I see a small air spot right here. So I'm going to create a second vacuum by holding the injector body and unscrewing the piston again to the mechanical stop. When I've done that, I'll do a second application of heat for about 3 seconds, and the repair will reappear momentarily and then disappear. You can see that the air that was trapped in the bottom has now moved into the injector. When the glass is cool to the touch, We'll do a second pressure application, again holding the injector body, turning the piston clockwise, contact the resin, turn it again until the seal expands, and stop. Inspect the repair, looking carefully from all angles, from the top, from the bottom, from both sides. Make sure there's no air left in the glass. One final application of heat under pressure, 1001, 1002, 1003, and we're ready to apply our ultraviolet light. Using the Glass Mechanics ultraviolet curing lamp, turn the lamp on, place the bulb area over the repair to cure it while it's under pressure. This should take approximately 1 to 1.5 minutes. Halfway through the curing time, move it to the bottom side. We'll make one more application of ultraviolet light during the pit curing process, which will complete the repair. The repair can be cured using the natural sunlight. There are several things to be considered: the time of the year, the time of the day, the angle of the sun. The only consistent way to know that your repairs are completely cured every time is to use the ultraviolet curing lamp provided with your kit. Now that our repair is completed and cured, we have to remove the equipment from the glass. This is done by holding the injector body, creating a vacuum by unscrewing the piston. Then we're going to pinch the two tabs that are located on either side of the suction cup together, and at the same time roll the injector down so that we don't lose our resin. And that's done like this. Okay? The final step in completing our repair is to seal the pit on the surface of the glass. We use the Glass Mechanics pit filler, a piece of curing film, and one razor blade. The technique for doing this is to put a small drop of pit filler right in the opening of the glass and roll down the curing film over that pit. Apply the curing lamp for approximately 1 minute. After approximately 1 minute, remove the lamp. Remove the curing film. If your pit filler is cured properly, it should make a slight tearing sound. Holding the razor blade perpendicular to the glass, not at an angle, not pushing the pit filler off of the glass, but holding it perpendicular and scraping back and forth across the surface. We want to make a flat, smooth surface that won't interfere with the wipers. After we've done that, we have a small gray spot that is the pit filler. Using our Dremel drill and our Glass Mechanics pit polish, we're going to polish that so it's clear. Shake the pit polish up, turn it over, and the amount left on your finger is adequate. Put it on the edge of the wheel. On low speed, polish the pit. Don't press too hard and slow the drill. Just allow the buffer to do its work. Concentrating right on the pit area. When we've completed our pit polishing process, clean the customer's windshield, and there you have our completed repair with ever so slight a blemish right there. Next, we're going to discuss star brakes and combination brakes. They're repaired exactly the same way and very similar to the bullseye. Again, we have an impact point in the center. This is where the rock or foreign object hit the glass. We have a small cavity with air, and then we have these radial cracks extending from the brake. We want to inspect this brake before we begin to repair from all four sides, and we want to make sure that each of these lines is connected into the main air cavity so that we have a path for the resin to flow to the ends. It may be necessary on some star brakes to drill. That would be an exception and not the rule. We'll repair this one without drilling. Mount our injector over the damage, again the same as we did with the bullseye. Pump the air out of the suction cup to hold it in place. Remove the injector body. We'll prepare the injector exactly the same way we did for the bullseye, except we'll use Glass Mechanics Star Fill resin. We'll put 1 drop on each seal of the injector piston. We'll mount the injector and engage the threads exactly the same way we did on the bullseye repair. Ensure smooth operation. Putting 5 to 8 drops of resin into the injector. Mount the outer seal. And again, just like bullseye repair, bring the resin up into the seal and then unscrew it slightly to create a depression in the end of the resin. That'll keep it from spilling out. Mounting the injector in the stand, turn it using the injector body and not the piston handle. Remember, if you use the piston handle, you'll force your resin out the end before you're ready. Use the injector body to mount the injector in the power vac stand. Turn the leveling screws until they just contact the glass, and then turn them 2 quarter turns. Just like in bullseye repair, this is a more accurate measurement. Now, finish turning your injector down until it touches the glass. Turn it 2 quarter turns, and we're ready to create our first vacuum. Again, we do that by holding the injector body so that we don't lose our seal to the glass. And we turn our piston counterclockwise or unscrew it from the injector body, and that creates the vacuum. Now we're going to be looking again in the center of our repair for the air bubbles to be moving into the injector. We'll heat this star brake for 3 seconds using the advanced spot heater. 1001, 1002, 1003. It's very effective in star brake repair because it opens these legs and allows the resin to flow much easier. You can see these brakes have begun to fill out toward the tips. When the repair is cool to the touch, we'll turn the injector clockwise or screw it into the piston into the injector. When we contact the resin, we'll turn it again and we'll watch the white seal expand exactly the same as we did in the bullseye repair. We'll apply heat under the pressure cycle, again for about 3 seconds. The legs of the star brake will appear to open up and the resin will flow down those open cracks. While bullseyes don't always require 2 complete cycles of vacuum and pressure, star brakes always require 2 full cycles. When it's cool to the touch, We'll again create a second vacuum by unscrewing the piston from the injector to the mechanical stop. Again, make sure you hold the injector body so that you don't unscrew it from the glass and break your seal. Third application of heat. We've done it once on the first vacuum, once on the first pressure, and now on the second vacuum. When the glass is cool to the touch, hold the injector body, screw the piston into the injector, comes in contact with the resin, expand the white outer seal, and a fourth and final heat application for approximately 3 seconds, and we'll inspect the repair. When we're satisfied that all the tips, all the cracks are filled completely to the tip, we're ready to apply the ultraviolet curing lamp, again the same way that we did in bullseye repair. Turn the lamp on and place it where the resin in the glass is exposed to the ultraviolet light. This curing process takes approximately 1 to 2 minutes. Remember, the repairs need to be cured under pressure. Approximately halfway through the curing time, move the injector to the other side of the damage. Remember, you can use natural sunlight to cure these repairs, but the most effective, safest, most consistent way is to use the ultraviolet curing lamp provided in your system. Now we're going to remove the injector. Again, we're going to create a vacuum to save our resin. We're going to pinch together the tabs on the sides of the power grip suction cup and turn it down so the resin stays in the injector. We're going to complete the pit using pit filler, exactly the same as we did on bullseye repair. 1 small drop of pit filler. Roll down the curing film. And apply the ultraviolet light. Applying the ultraviolet light now cures the pit filler and finishes curing the repair in the glass. After 1 minute, remove the curing lamp. When we remove the curing film, we should have that slight tearing sound again. Holding our razor blade perpendicular to the glass, scraping back and forth, horizontally or vertically, it doesn't matter. Remove the excess pit filler. Again, we're going to apply pit polish to our polishing wheel. Using the low setting, we're going to polish the pit. And the final step is always clean the customer's windshield. When working outdoors, it'll be necessary to protect your brake from ultraviolet light until you're ready to cure it. Using suction cup lubricant and the sunshade, apply a small amount of lubricant to each of the 4 suction cups. When you've done that, apply the sunshade to the windshield so that it covers the power grip and power vac injector. It's transparent. You can see your hands through it. You can still do the repair and work, whatever you have to do. This will ensure that your brake doesn't cure prematurely. An advanced technique for star repair would be to drill the pit area. This is only done on that rare occasion when the resin will not move into the damaged area because for some reason it's blocked. The way the break took place in the glass, it is not allowing an open passage, and using our carbide probe has not opened it enough to allow the resin to flow freely into the brake. Using the carbide bit, we're going to drill to 1/2 the depth of the burr. The burr is that area from the tip back to approximately my fingernail where the blades are located on the drill bit. We're going to use low speed, and we're going to use a pumping motion to drill this glass so that we don't burn it and we don't break our bit. Holding the drill like a pencil, being careful, go into the center of the brake and drill approximately 1/2 the depth of the burr. Remember, some windshield repair systems require that every repair be drilled, but with the power vac system, you'll drill very, very few repairs. Next, we're going to discuss crack repair. The things that we're going to need to do crack repair are our drill, a crack repair drill bit, some petroleum jelly to lubricate a path for our injector stand to slide, a crack expander, curing film, crack seal resin, the crack mender body, crack mender piston, crack mender inner seals, crack mender outer seal, and the crack mender bridge. The next thing we'll do is prepare the crack mender injector exactly the same way we prepared the power vac injector. We'll take the inner seals, install the top one first, then we'll install the second one and roll it down the piston to the lower groove. Using crack seal resin, we'll put 1 drop on each seal, install the piston in the injector body, using the screw provided, engage the threads. Again, exactly the same as we did on the power vac. Ensure that it operates smoothly. We need about 1 drop of resin for each inch of crack. We have approximately 15 inches of crack here, so we'll put that many drops of resin in the injector. Remember, with the glass mechanics system, you don't waste any resin. You'll be able to recover it and put it back in the bottle at the end. Install the end seal and evacuate the air out of the injector by bringing the resin to the seal and then creating a slight vacuum, ensuring that it won't spill when you turn it over. Crack repair with the crack mender system by Glass Mechanics is a very simple process. When we have our resin in the injector, which will hold 35 drops, you can do a crack 35 inches long before reloading. Apply a lubricant, petroleum jelly, to the glass away from the crack so that we don't contaminate it, and lubricate the entire path that you'll follow while repairing the crack. The next step, at the top of the crack, mount the crack mender bracket in the lubricant, and ensure that it will slide smoothly the full length of your crack repair without getting any of the lubricant into the crack area itself. Now we mount the crack mender injector over the crack at its highest point. Turn it down until it contacts the glass and approximately half a turn. Okay, you'll notice the crack begins to clear below the injector. We'll just keep moving down until we've repaired approximately 2 inches of the crack. At this point, the resin left behind on the surface of the crack will hold our curing film in place to keep air or dirt from getting into our brake. Here the crack is repaired below the plastic. Here you can see the crack is clearing as the resin continues to flow down the crack. I'll just keep moving the injector smoothly, applying a little more pressure and a little more pressure. A second piece of curing film to protect that repaired crack. Keep moving the resin ahead of the injector by applying slight amount of pressure, being careful not to get your suction cups or the lubricant over the cracked area. Third piece of curing film. And we move right out to the edge of the glass on the molding. Our last piece of curing film. We'll remove the injector by applying a vacuum. Lifting the suction cups off. We're going to take a razor blade and very carefully move any lubricant off of the glass and away from the brake. Using the Glass Mechanics crack curing lamp, we apply it to the crack. When curing a crack, I'd leave the light on at least 5 minutes. If you're using the natural sunlight, when you've completed filling the crack, allow the sun about 5 to 10 minutes. Remember, you'll need to use the sunshade if you're working outdoors while you're repairing your crack. If at some point in your crack repair the resin stops flowing, use the Glass Mechanic crack expander applied to the windshield on the inside so the bolt is directly over that spot. Turn the bolt until it just touches the glass and then give it 2 quarter turns. That should open the crack up enough to allow the resin to flow by that point. When the resin has flowed by that point, continue your crack repair. You can remove the crack expander and complete your repair. When you're satisfied that the crack is cured, lift off the curing film. Then scrape the excess resin off the surface of the crack. And the crack is only a hairline. In our crack repair session, we use the optional crack repair curing lamp available from Glass Mechanics. This lamp is longer, has a 12-inch bulb, operates on either battery or 12 volt, and gives you a longer curing surface for longer cracks. The ultraviolet curing lamp included with your system is very effective for curing cracks or any ultraviolet resin. You just have to use caution and cure 2.5-inch segments at a time. This crack begins down here at the edge of the windshield, travels up approximately 6 inches. Because it ends in the middle of the glass, we're going to drill and tap a miniature bullseye approximately 1/8 of an inch off the end of that crack. To do that, we'll use our Dremel drill on low speed. We'll drill with a pumping motion until we've drilled about half the depth of the burr. What I've done is, the burr being the cutting edge of the drill bit, I've drilled a hole now in the glass approximately half the depth of that burr. I'll place a needle in the hole that I've drilled, and by snapping my wrist, I'll hit that needle with the tappet, and we pop a miniature bullseye. That bullseye is right here over the end of the crack. When we've completed our repair, remove the injector from the power grip bridge. Remove the outer seal using your pick provided in your kit. If you have any resin left in the injector, remove the tip from the bottle. Put the resin back in the bottle. Make sure that you put the resin in the correct bottle. Don't mix or contaminate the resins. Next, we'll check and make sure that the suction cup is clean, that we didn't get any resin on it. Looking at the outside, we can set that aside. Next, to clean the injector, remove the screw that engages the piston threads. Remove the piston. In the parts cleaning jar provided with your system, put acetone or rubbing alcohol. Clean the injector body by setting it in the jar and then running the cleaning brush up and down. This will pull enough cleaning material to clean the inside. Using a plain paper towel, wipe off the outside. Set that aside. To clean the piston, some alcohol on it. Just wipe it off. Set that aside. And wipe off the threads on the screw. Save the cleaning fluid as long as it's not contaminated, doesn't have a lot of dirt or foreign matter in it. Wipe off the outer seal. And put it back in your kit. That cleanup process is used for both the crack mender injector and the power vac injector. Plate glass repair. Commercial plate glass is 3/8 to 1/4 inch thick. We're on what would be the inside of the storefront. There's a piece of glass missing this big. You can see the impact point, which is on the outside of the glass, where a rock or a vandal hit this window. To repair this, we want to fill this void completely with a product that's strong enough to restore the structural integrity to the window and make it more aesthetically pleasing. We put the curing film and the backing plate over the damaged area, leaving a small gap at the top for air to escape. We hold that in place with the crack expander, and we can make slight adjustments. On the outside of the glass, we mount the mounting bracket. Next, install the vertical injector. Lining up the opening in the seal with the opening in the glass. Turn it till the opening is facing up and fill it with resin. Air is escaping through the small vent hole that we left at the top. When you see resin, squeeze out the top. Slide the backing plate up slightly to cover that hole, and allow 45 minutes to an hour for the sunlight to cure that damage.
The automobile windshield must be free of dirt and debris before scratch removal is started. Otherwise, foreign materials might further damage the windshield as the polishing pad is applied to the glass. The polishing powder should now be poured into the mixing container and mixed with water. The desired paste consistency would be that of pancake syrup. Once the polishing powder is made into a paste, it is advised to mark the windshield from the inside of the car before going on. The paste marks will be a guide for the polishing pad once the repair is in progress. On the outside of the windshield, the glass is sprayed with water and a small amount of polishing paste is applied to the glass. The polishing pad is now gently applied to the glass and kept in motion over the scratches to be removed. After a few passes with the polishing wheel, more water is needed and occasionally more polishing paste. It is important to keep the polishing pad in motion because a stationary application could readily build up excessive heat, which could result in the windshield breaking. A good preventative technique commonly used to avoid the overheating of a windshield is this. After a few passes with the polishing wheel, simply feel the glass for excessive heat. If the heat feels excessive, wait a minute or two for the glass to cool. If the heat buildup is not excessive, residual compound can be wiped into the polishing path and efforts can continue. If the windshield is ever accidentally overheated by the polishing process, never spray the area with water to cool the glass down. The glass should be allowed to cool by itself, or residual polishing compound already on the windshield can be carefully wiped into the area to cool the glass down. 20 minutes have now elapsed in the scratch removal process. The windshield is cleaned with a damp cloth, both inside and out. Careful inspection is given to the glass to ensure all wiper scratches are removed. The project was a success, and the windshield should look like this. Here are a couple of valuable tips on wiper scratch removal. Not all wiper marks can be removed. Some are simply too deep to remove. A good rule of thumb is, if the scratch catches your fingernail as you move it across the glass, it's too deep to polish out. It takes approximately 35 to 40 minutes to successfully remove most wiper scratches. The Glass Mechanics polishing pad should be stored in a sanitary container when not in use. Contamination of this unique pad could result in the further scratching of a windshield. Additionally, after the pad's first use, it should always be placed on a clean towel prior to usage and allowed to spin for a couple of seconds. This removes any dried polishing compound and cleans the pad. First, the glass is cleaned with rubbing alcohol. Then, all loose glass particles are removed with the carbide pick. Special tape called holding tape is securely applied to the outside of the lamp to ensure a good seal. The applied tape is slightly larger than the hole in the glass. Resin is drawn into the hypodermic needle. Very carefully, the resin is applied to the fracture. Apply only enough headlamp resin to fill the fracture, as this will give the best repair appearance once the process is finished. When the fracture is properly filled, remove the hypodermic needle and cut a film tab slightly larger than the area being repaired. With the tweezers, insert the film tab into the mouth of the headlamp and gently lay the film tab on the fracture which is filled with resin. The headlamp can now be carefully lifted, making sure to keep the assembly level onto the Glass Mechanics Deluxe curing lamp. Otherwise, the headlamp can be taken outdoors for curing. Curing time is approximately 5 minutes by lamp and 2 minutes outside. It is very important to use only the Glass Mechanics headlamp repair resin for automobile headlamp repair. This specially formulated resin was designed to withstand severe temperature swings and extremes, as well as the natural surface bombardment of harsh chemicals. Substituting the Glass Mechanics film tabs and holding tape is also not recommended. Some plastics will have a chemical reaction to the specially formulated resin, either compromising the structural integrity of the resin and/or turning the uncured resin a dark blue color. Copy the VIN, vehicle identification number, from the driver's side dash under the windshield. Using the labeling machine to create your VIN on the label template. Be sure that you depress the handle firmly so that all the numbers will stand out bold on the label. Clean windows that you're going to etch with a strong commercial cleaner. After you've created your VIN label template, peel off the white protective backing and stick the label to a clean, dry surface. Determine how many windows you need to apply the VIN to. Peel off a VIN etching stencil from its white protective backing and apply it with the peeled side down directly on top of the VIN label template already created. Secure all 4 sides with tape. Do not cover any of the numbers with the tape. Repeat this process for each stencil that you use. Use the plastic handled portion of the applicator brush in a rapid rubbing motion from side to side in order to create a stencil with the numbers emerging. When properly done, the numbers on the newly rubbed stencil will appear white. Carefully remove the stencil from the label and reapply the stencil firmly to the base of each window you are going to etch. Make sure it is aligned evenly, because this is how it will appear after it is etched into the window. Typical locations for etching are the door windows above the door handles, the right corner of the windshield, the rear window, T-tops and sunroofs. Start with the windshield and work your way around the vehicle. Using the applicator brush, apply etching cream side to side and up and down, covering each number fully on the stencil. The etching cream has a mild acid base and will immediately start to etch. Clean the applicator brush in warm water until all etching cream is removed. If etching cream falls on the car paint, wipe with a damp cloth. Allow 1.5 minutes for etching cream to dry. Carefully remove tape and stencil and discard.
For door repair, the first step is to take away the black area that surrounds the repair from the burn hole. So we're going to take the scissors here and just cut away that area. It's important to remove the black burned area from the repair so that the adhesive will stick properly. If the repair is not a burn hole, if it's a rip or a tear, Glass Mechanics velour repair kit has the invisible thread and sewing needles to stitch the repair first, then apply the fibers and the adhesive. Okay. Once all of the burned area is removed from the repair, next step is to take the cotton batting and place it directly into the burn area. This is going to add flexibility to the underside of the repair. Once the batting is in place, we're going to take some of our sub-patch material and cut out a circle about 1/2 inch larger in diameter than the actual size of the burn hole to give it extra flexibility. Place an X in the center of the sub-patch material so that you can position it properly underneath the repair. Using a small tweezers, simply place the sub-patch material underneath the repaired area. the X directly in the center. You have enough of the subpatch material overlapping that will allow it to adhere properly to the underside of the velour. We're going to take our adhesive. If you're working on a fabric that is white, gray, black, tan, the Glass Mechanics has an adhesive to match each color. If it's a color that's not in the kit, simply just use the white velour adhesive. Squeeze the adhesive out just enough till it's flush to the surface. Take the velour spatula and carefully place some of the adhesive underneath the area with the excess subpatch material. Once the adhesive is in place, and take some of the velour fibers, which most of the time it's the exact color right out of the kit. If not, you're blending the two colors together until you get an exact match. Take the fibers and simply brush some of the fibers directly onto the repair. Once all the fibers are on top of the repair, take the velour tamp and just press them on top of the adhesive. And as a finishing touch, we use a velour atomizer to spray the fibers over the repair, just so that the fibers aren't focused in one area. You're going to coat about an inch diameter around the repair to blend all the fibers together. And we're going to hold the fibers using the velour spray adhesive. Spraying it approximately 6 to 8 inches away from the repair. And there's your finished velour repair.